Good morning, my beautiful people. Today I woke up in Marble Falls here at the incredible Blue Beetle shipping container house built out of a used 20 by 8 foot shipping container. So I'm gonna be giving you a short tour of this amazing shipping container home. So let's go inside. Good morning. May I interest you in some delicious cinnamon and oat chef specialty pancakes? They're delicious, absolutely delicious. So last night I stayed in the Blue Beetle shipping container home. I had an amazing, absolutely amazing time here. I'm just gonna be completely honest with you guys. I think, when I read all of the reviews, when I saw the pictures, everything was super promising, in the sense that everyone talked about sort of the experience and like what it was like staying here and how amazing everything was. And when I got here, I think that I brought in some like preconceived notions of what I expected this to be in terms of layout, in terms of design. And it all kind of brought me back to when I was first thinking about my tiny house and what I was gonna build and what I was gonna buy. And I actually, like, more than anything, I wanted to buy a shipping container. So this is a 20 foot by 8 foot container. I wanted to buy one of these and convert it into my own tiny house. I thought about whether putting it permanently on land or putting it on wheels, but I just remember, and I still have the notebook, like tens and tens of iterations of design layouts and like how to perfectly arrange everything so that one, things are multi-purpose, multifunctional, and two, you can put things away when you don't need them, because if you can't see, there's not a lot of walking space, there's not a lot of space in general in 160 square feet, a footprint of this size. To put it in simpler terms, I think I was just expecting a house that was built for full-time living when I should have just had my expectations set for a house that was clearly built and very well designed to be an Airbnb short-term rental. So kind of once I got over that sort of realization, for lack of a better word, I started to open up to like how amazing this house actually is. Through this tour, I hope I can show you guys just a glimpse of what I got to experience here at the Blue Beetle, and hopefully convince you guys to come out here for a night or a weekend just to kind of relax and get away. So with that, let's jump right into the tour. So again, this is a 20 by 8 foot shipping container that was converted into this Airbnb short-term rental. These are the containers that you literally see being used to ship goods around the world. This was clearly a used shipping container, not new by any means, because on the exterior you can see some of that rust and some of that wear and tear over the years of a shipping container being used for imports, exports, you name it. And the really cool thing that these builders did is that they actually left the original exterior of the container unpainted, unaltered whatsoever, so it actually gives you this super cool like industrial vibe on the outside, with of course those modern touches like that rooftop deck, which is one of my favorite things, and then of course all the windows and the design that they brought inside the house. So walking into the house, you have this huge full light sliding door and brings you into that living room space, which is the first part of the home. So this first section of the home that measures about 6 by 8 feet is the living and sleeping area. Now this is actually probably one of my least favorite aspects of this home. I feel like this futon is not doing this space any justice. The one thing I really disliked was the fact that you have to basically set up the bed when you want to go to sleep at night. And the very last thing you want to do when you're dead tired, when you've kind of been out exploring all day, is to set up and make a bed. Personally, I think the best option for shipping container homes of this footprint with such a small space for living and sleeping area is to build in some sort of built-in living and sleeping solution, like a Murphy bed that you can fold the bed up and then it converts into a couch during the day or whenever you need it, and then you can just simply pull the bed down and then you have your sleeping space. Of course, the big con with the Murphy bed is that it actually removes about a foot of width from the house when it's not being used. Of course, when it's being used, then it's, you know, the full width of the house essentially becomes the bed. I would have liked to have seen some sort of built-in solution, but as an Airbnb rental, as something for short-term stays, I think it works fine. Moving on to the next part of the house is the kitchen. So the kitchen is one of my favorite parts of this home. I love the simplicity of the butcher block countertops, the white cabinets, the black hardware, and the black sink. I think that color combination works phenomenally. And not only that, but the hosts actually provide literally everything you could possibly need for your stay here. They have a propane cooktop with 2 burners, which is a huge deal to me personally. Maybe if you're coming from your normal sized home, that seems like a downgrade, but personally, in my house, I only had a single burner for about 6 or 7 months, and I just had to get adjusted to cooking sort of like one-pot meals or cooking pastas, or just sort of like alternating, cooking one thing first and then cooking a second thing later, and then just kind of piecing together a meal. In addition, you have quite a bit of countertop space for prep, for cooking meals, and they have a huge, I believe it's a 30-inch sink, super wide, black sink. I absolutely love it. In addition, the hosts provide all of the plates, pans, pots, silverware, knives, everything you would need, spices, oils. So the kitchen is definitely set up to cook full-time meals if that's what you decide to do during your stay here. So directly across from the kitchen is the dining and workspace. So I personally love a dedicated dining and workspace, and that's something I wish I had a bigger version of in my house. This is a perfect setup for a short-term rental. So this is about a 6-foot wide butcher block countertop that is about 1.5 feet deep, and it has 2 stools, perfect for eating, perfect for doing some work. It is a permanent setup, so that's just something that they chose to do, and honestly it works. It works for a short-term rental. So if you keep walking in that direction, you're going to notice tons of storage, some more cabinet storage for the kitchen, and an apartment-sized fridge and a microwave. So those 2 things I feel like are luxuries for this size space. Personally, I have a fridge of about that size. I think it's about 10 cubic feet, and I would not do without it. I think a mini fridge is an okay option for a short-term rental, but in this case, because the kitchen is set up for full-time cooking, then I think you should also factor in the size of the fridge into that equation, and I think those pair very nicely with each other. Having enough space to store the food that you're going to prep and going to be able to cook here is great. Microwave, definitely essential for a short-term rental, but personally, I don't have one in my house. So those are just some distinctions between a house that was built as a short-term rental and a house that was clearly built for long-term use. So this beautiful barnwood door past the refrigerator leads you into the bathroom. Now this bathroom is about 4 foot deep and 8 feet wide. It's about a foot larger than my personal bathroom, so this feels pretty large already. There's a fiberglass shower in there with hot water, all the essentials. Honestly, a great place to shower. Then you have a sink and vanity on the right-hand side, along with the Nature's Head composting toilet. So I'm gonna say something a little controversial about the Nature's Head, but personally, I am not a huge fan of the Nature's Head. So I've tried a wide variety of composting toilets, and frankly, I think the Nature's Head does exactly what it was meant to do, but I think it doesn't do it in an aesthetically pleasing way. And I've had some issues in the past with some composting toilets, some Nature's Head composting toilets that I've used, particularly in the smell department. Now, with this particular one, this one doesn't smell, so it could just be user error or just something that they're doing differently in this case. But I still think the Separate has a leg up with their urine diverting toilet. That's personally what I have in mind. What I do like about this Nature's Head composting toilet, if you've never used one, is that it's essentially a self-contained unit where you can dispose of the urine, separately, take that elsewhere to your gray water disposal, and then take your compost to a separate location, and it's all sort of contained in that one environment. Whereas in my particular case, a Separate, my urine diverter basically goes out with, a pipe that goes out to my gray water. So it essentially goes to the same place that all of my other sink water, my shower water, all of that gets disposed. Whereas here you can take that and dispose it wherever you please. It's self-contained and it's really easy to use. The other thing I will say that I really like about the Nature's Head that the Separate doesn't have is this one has that alligator handle that you can essentially turn and mix all the compost after every use. And so the biggest difference is the Separate, you basically just pour or cover the pile every time you use the restroom. You'll cover the pile with some additional compost, but it never really gets mixed, at least not, you know, contained within the unit. There's not a feature to do that with a Separate. That's what I do really like about the Nature's Head. So if you've never used a composting toilet, it's gonna be perfectly fine. I think this is a great place to start. Really simple to use. So in that case, you guys will be just fine. So that's pretty much it, guys. Inside this 160 square foot shipping container house, there is one other thing that I will show you guys. So come with me. So on top of this 20 by 8 foot shipping container, the owners built a rooftop deck. And honestly, this is my favorite, absolute favorite thing about this house, especially, you know, given the fact that it's in a location where you can really enjoy being up there during the day and at night. So during the day, you know, it's a great place to bring your breakfast, your coffee up there, enjoy a meal, but at night is what really makes this place special. So they have some lights up there that you can turn on. And frankly, the majority of the time that I spent here was spent either up on that rooftop deck at night or building a fire down by the creek. It's an absolutely amazing experience. I went and ate dinner up there, had a glass of wine, came back down, built a little fire, and just spent the entire night just looking up at the stars. There were super clear skies last night, very little light pollution, so this is a great place if you want to just unwind, relax, and do a little bit of stargazing while you're at it. So that's it, guys. That is the full tour of the Blue Beetle shipping container house. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did staying here, and hopefully I can convince you guys to come spend a night or a weekend away here. Again, you know, it's just super interesting how when I initially got here, I was a little bit disappointed with what I was expecting to see, but as the day progressed, as night came, I totally understood and felt what everyone else was raving about in regards to this place. And I just felt at peace. I felt like I was finally unwinding. The fact that there's no cell phone service out here, which could be a little concerning for some of you guys, if you know that and you expect that, then you actually get to unplug and disconnect. No notifications coming in. There's no Wi-Fi, so there's nothing else that could possibly come in and distract you. Yet you still have access to all the amenities. There's an H-E-B about 5 minutes down the road. Marble Falls downtown is 5 minutes down the road. This property is right off of 1431, which is a main country road cutting through to Marble Falls. You still have access to whatever you may need, but you're definitely sort of out in the wilderness here. And I think that's a huge selling point and a huge reason why I really enjoyed my stay here at the Blue Beetle. So if you guys want to book the Blue Beetle, I will leave the listing link below, as well as a link to sign up to Airbnb to get up to $50 off your first stay. I hope you guys enjoyed the tour. There are many more tours coming in the weeks to come, so stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel so you guys don't miss out on any of that. And here is a short cinematic sequence of me cooking some ribeye steaks, some grilled veggies, and some pasta last night. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you in the next one.